30 billion humans will suffocate and die if the Galactic Council rejects our settlement plan, Ambassador Ryan Carter bluntly stated. The bushy-eyebrowed elder locked eyes with the violet pupils of High Commander Vortis. The Eliani telepath sneered at Carter's weathered face from across the cavernous council chamber. Hundreds of alien delegates filled the circular assembly hall's tiered seats. Insectoid Kazikitic mandibles clicked, reptilian saurian tongue flicks hissed, Korax beaks clacked open and shut. Carter stood alone at the central podium in his simple blue United Earth Federation suit. The UEF-Eliani alliance hung by a thread. Their planned colony on Kepler 452b was critical for humanity's survival. Without it, Earth's dwindling resources couldn't sustain 10 billion, let alone 30. But just as UEF ships arrived in orbit, the Eliani invoked an ancient prophecy, one that proclaimed their species' exclusive right to settle the planet they called the Blue Haven. High Commander Vortis, this body acknowledged the joint nature of our Kepler 452b mission, Carter accused. Yet the moment it began, the Eliani discarded our agreement. Billions will perish without this colony. For what? Some musty old prediction? Vortis rose from his front row seat, blue head-tails swaying. The orb of destiny never lies. Do you take us for fools to not recognize our foretold home? If humans die, that is regrettable. But the Blue Haven is ours alone. Carter raised his hand, gesturing to a hollow projector. Esteemed councillors, humanity comes to you with shocking revelations about Kepler 452b. They will force you to reconsider the Eliani's ludicrous claim. Carter locked eyes with the council, his finger hovering over a button on the hollow projector. High Commander Vortis, I must regretfully inform you that your species' claim to Kepler 452b is not only unjustified, but entirely impractical. He tapped the button, and a spherical display of the planet materialized above the council floor. I present to you the findings of a recent survey mission, led by renowned xenobiologist Dr. James Nakamura. The display zoomed in on Kepler 452b's swirling atmosphere, with readouts scrolling alongside it. As you can see, the planet's atmosphere is rich in oxygen, a gas that is highly toxic to Eliani physiology. Your species, High Commander, evolved to breathe a mixture of nitrogen and methane. Attempting to colonize a world with such high oxygen levels would be disastrous for your people. Murmurs rippled through the council chamber as delegates digested this revelation. Vortis's violet eyes narrowed, his blue head-tails twitching with agitation. Carter continued, Furthermore, our analysis shows that the Eliani lack the necessary terraforming technology to make Kepler 452b habitable for your kind. The process would take centuries, if not millennia, to complete. The human ambassador raised his hands in a conciliatory gesture. However, humanity is willing to offer our assistance. We have advanced terraforming capabilities that could help the Eliani transform Kepler 452b into a suitable home. All we ask in return is shared access to the planet's resources. Vortis shot to his feet, his voice booming across the chamber. This is an outrage. The human delegation has clearly sabotaged the exploration mission and falsified these survey results to undermine our rightful claim to the Blue Haven. The Eliani leader turned to the council, his eyes blazing with fury. I demand that this body recognize the Eliani's exclusive right to Kepler 452b as decreed by the Orb of Destiny. If our demands are not met, we will have no choice but to withdraw from our alliance with the United Earth Federation. The council chamber erupted into chaos, with representatives from various species shouting and arguing over each other. Insectoid delegates clicked their mandibles in agitation, while reptilian saurians hissed and flicked their tongues. The Korax representatives clacked their beaks, their feathers ruffling with each new accusation. Amidst the tumult, Carter remained calm and composed. He raised his hand, signaling for silence. Gradually, the clamor died down, and all eyes turned to the human ambassador. Esteemed councillors, I have one final revelation to share with you. Carter's voice was steady, his gaze unwavering. Earth, humanity's homeworld, possesses an oxygen-rich atmosphere. We have evolved to not only tolerate oxygen, but to thrive in its presence." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. Carter pressed on. "Oxygen is essential for human survival, and many other species in the galaxy also require it to live. It is a rare and valuable resource, one that no other known species has evolved to breathe." The council members sat in stunned silence, the weight of Carter's words sinking in. Oxygen, the very gas that was toxic to the Eliani, was the lifeblood of humanity and countless other species. The implications were staggering. Ryan seized upon the council's stunned reaction to his revelation about oxygen. He stepped forward, his voice clear and confident. "Esteemed councillors, I propose a compromise that will benefit both the Eliani and humanity. Let us work together to colonize Kepler 452b, with humans providing the terraforming technology to create a suitable atmosphere for the Eliani, and in return, the Eliani sharing their advanced propulsion technology to help humanity expand its reach in the galaxy." Ryan's words hung in the air for a moment before he continued. "This partnership will not only ensure the survival and prosperity of both our species, but also serve as a shining example of peaceful cooperation among the galactic community. Together, we can build a future of shared progress and understanding." Vortis, his violet eyes narrowed, rose from his seat. "And what proof do you have of humanity's terraforming capabilities, Ambassador Carter? The Eliani will not enter into an agreement based on empty promises." Ryan nodded, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "I anticipated your request, High Commander." He turned to the side and gestured to a figure emerging from the shadows. "Allow me to introduce Dr. James Nakamura, one of Earth's foremost experts in terraforming technology." Dr. Nakamura, a short, bespectacled man with a keen intellect, stepped forward. He bowed slightly to the council before activating a holographic display. "Esteemed councillors, I present to you a detailed plan for terraforming Kepler 452b. The display sprang to life, showing a multi-stage process involving genetically engineered microbes. These microbes, designed specifically for Kepler 452b's unique environment, will gradually convert the planet's methane-rich atmosphere into a nitrogen-oxygen mixture suitable for both humans and Eliani. Dr. Nakamura paused, allowing the council members to absorb the information. The process, while time-consuming, will result in a stable, Earth-like environment within several decades. Kepler 452b will become a world where both our species can thrive. As the presentation concluded, murmurs of approval rippled through the council chamber. Even Vortis, his expression grudgingly impressed, leaned forward in his seat. However, the Eliani leader raised one final objection. The cost of such a massive terraforming project would be astronomical. The Eliani do not have the resources to fund this endeavor. Ryan, his eyes glinting with anticipation, stepped forward once more. The United Earth Federation has already secured funding for the project from a consortium of human corporations eager to establish a presence on Kepler 452b. Moreover, the Eliani's advanced propulsion technology, which would be shared as part of our partnership, will open up new markets for human businesses and greatly reduce the cost of interstellar travel. The council members exchanged glances, the potential benefits of the proposed partnership becoming increasingly clear. As they began to deliberate, Ryan and Vortis engaged in a heated discussion, each side determined to secure the best possible terms for their respective species. The council deliberations dragged on, delegates debating the merits of Ryan's terraforming proposal. Suddenly, a commotion erupted at the chamber entrance. A tall, muscular Eliani with a jagged scar marring his blue face stormed in, flanked by a contingent of armed followers. It was Zorax, a notorious extremist opposed to the UEF alliance. "Vortis!" Zorax bellowed, his voice reverberating through the chamber. "You spineless traitor! You would surrender our sacred Blue Haven to these hairless apes?" Vortis rose to face the intruder, his own guards moving to intercept. But Zorax's supporters clashed with them, the chamber descending into a chaotic melee of flailing limbs and cracking carapaces. "Kepler 452b is the Eliani birthright," Zorax roared over the din. "We will take it by force and exterminate any humans who dare stand in our way." He thrust an accusing finger at Vortis. "I call for a vote of no confidence in this weak-willed fool's leadership." Ryan watched the pandemonium unfold, mind racing. This Zorax was a threat to both the Alliance and Eliani stability, but his insurgency also presented an opportunity. The human ambassador leaned in close to Vortis. "Let me help you deal with this fanatic. A joint operation, human special forces and Eliani intelligence. We'll track down Zorax's followers and capture them." Vortis hesitated, torn between suspicion and the need to quell this uprising. Finally, he nodded curtly. Over the following days, Ryan and Vortis worked closely to plan the strikes. UEF commandos trained alongside Eliani warriors, the two species slowly building a grudging respect. Together, they led a series of lightning raids on Zorax's strongholds. Searing plasma bolts lit up the night as human and Eliani soldiers stormed rebel bases. Bit by bit, the insurgency crumbled. Finally, they cornered Zorax himself at his heavily fortified compound. Eliani hover tanks smashed through its ferrocrete walls as UEF power-armored troopers battled fanatical defenders hand to hand. At the height of the fighting, Ryan and Vortis confronted Zorax on a balcony overlooking the carnage. The scarred extremist snarled and lunged at Ryan with a crackling stun baton. Ryan sidestepped the blow and drove a power-armored fist into Zorax's jaw, sending him crashing to the decking. Vortis pounced, pinning the rebel leader until UEF troopers slapped on titanium restraints. With Zorax and his top lieutenants in custody, the insurgency was broken. Vortis reasserted his control over the Eliani, and he and Ryan returned to the Council to finalize their agreement, a new bond forged in the crucible of battle. As the partnership agreement between humanity and the Eliani was finalized, the monumental task of terraforming Kepler 452b began. Genetically engineered microbes, designed by Dr. Nakamura and his team, were released into the planet's atmosphere, slowly converting the toxic methane into a breathable mixture of nitrogen and oxygen. But as the terraforming process kicked into gear, an unexpected discovery rocked the fledgling colony. Dr. Nakamura, leading a survey team, stumbled upon a hidden chamber within the ruins of an ancient alien civilization. Inside, they found a device that defied all known laws of physics, the Omega Core. The device pulsed with an eerie, otherworldly light, seeming to draw power from an unknown dimension. Dr. Nakamura, his eyes wide with wonder, reached out to touch the Omega Core. As his fingers brushed its surface, a jolt of energy surged through his body, nearly knocking him off his feet. "This is unlike anything we've ever seen," Dr. Nakamura breathed, his voice trembling with excitement. "The potential applications are endless. We must study it further." Word of the discovery soon reached Ryan and Vortis, who agreed to keep the Omega Core a closely guarded secret until they could better understand its nature. But despite their best efforts, news of the device leaked out, spreading like wildfire through the galactic community. Soon, various factions were vying for control of the Omega Core, each with their own agenda. Some saw it as a potential weapon, a tool to dominate their rivals. Others believed it held the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe itself. As tensions rose and the specter of war loomed, Ryan and Vortis realized they had to act fast. They assembled a crack team of human and Eliani operatives, each handpicked for their skills and loyalty. "We cannot let the Omega Core fall into the wrong hands," Ryan declared, his jaw set with determination. "If it does, the consequences could be catastrophic." Vortis nodded, his violet eyes gleaming with resolve. "Agreed. We must retrieve the device and destroy it, no matter the cost." And so, the team embarked on a dangerous mission, battling rival factions and ancient security systems as they fought their way towards the chamber housing the Omega Core. Plasma bolts sizzled through the air, the stench of ozone and charred flesh filling their nostrils. At last they reached the chamber, the Omega core pulsing with an almost hypnotic light. Ryan and Vortis exchanged a grim look, both knowing what had to be done. "We overload the core," Ryan said, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "It's the only way to ensure the galaxy's safety." Vortis nodded, his hand clasping Ryan's shoulder in a gesture of solidarity. Together, then, for the sake of all. As they worked to destabilize the Omega core, the device began to emit a high-pitched whine, its light growing brighter and more intense. The ground shook beneath their feet, cracks spiderwebbing across the chamber's walls. With a final desperate push, Ryan and Vortis succeeded in overloading the core. A blinding flash of light erupted, followed by a massive explosion that obliterated the chamber and a large portion of the planet's surface. But the explosion did more than just destroy the Omega core. It tore a rift in the very fabric of space-time, a swirling vortex of energy that sucked Ryan, Vortis, and the shattered remains of the device into its depths. In an instant they were gone, vanished into an unknown dimension. The galactic community reeled in shock, stunned by the sudden disappearance of two of its most prominent figures. The terraforming of Kepler 452b continued, but the planet was now a somber memorial to the heroes who had sacrificed everything to protect the galaxy. The story of Ryan, Vortis, and the Omega core passed into legend, a tale of bravery and selflessness in the face of an impossible threat. But even as the galaxy moved forward, forever changed by the events set in motion by a simple declaration about Earth's atmosphere, a sense of unease lingered. For deep in the hearts of many, a single question remained: what had become of Ryan and Vortis, and the mysterious device that had vanished with them into the unknown? You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.